Yo, what's happening, y'all? This is B Jizzle of the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Welcome to the number one LA Clipper podcast out there. We want to first give you guys a shout out, LA Clipper fan, LA Clipper Nations, for being here. Share this podcast with your family and friends. They will not be disappointed, but let's get it popping.
Pull up in motorcades. I got a show today. It's all I'm trying to do. Hustle and motivate. Choppers to throw away. Hustle the overweight. That's why they follow me, They think I know the way. Cause I took control of things. Ballin' the solo way. And if you pattern my trend, I make you my protege. Slossin' that soldier race. Niggas don't know them days. Take you in back of the buildings. Make you expose your rage. Take you across the tracks. Make you explode the face. Now you official now. But you got a soul to say. I just been cooking that new. I'm about to drop in a few. Think if I call it the great, the people gon' call it the truth. I ain't really trip on the credit. I just paid all of my dues. I just respected the game. Now my name all in the news. Tripping on all of my moves. Quote me on this, got a lot more to prove. Remember I came in this bitch, fresh out the county with nothing to lose. Nothing. No. On the ground, you. But I don't do this shit for nothing. No, not at all. Not at all. You. But my money red, money red. That you do. Oh, yeah. So I don't do this shit for nothing.
Rolling up some good, pulling up till we get faded. You know how we do it. Everybody take a flex on me. I got the keys to the city. I don't need no limousine. I turn up when I pull up. And tell my booking agent book a show. Running around with the paper bag. Running around with the paper bag. Going crazy spending all this cash. Going crazy spending all this cash. If I spend it, I'ma get it back. Even when I ride around dirty. A nigga don't need a seatbelt. A nigga don't need a seatbelt. Nah, it don't cost to keep it real. Run up, get done up. Shit can get real. Fuck around and get your ass rocked. Nigga, fuck around and take your shit. Got you asking God why. Drag your ass into an alley. Pull out aim for the target. Should've never been around the killers. In my town, we the fucking realest. No cheddar bars round here. I get the spray and they gon' get down. Ski mask over my face. Catch a body in broad day. Catch a body in broad day.
I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Shadidi. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me. Y'all ain't got nothing like this over there. Bunch of frontline millionaires. Bunch of self-made after Trump paid. Guess the odds really took it there. Any problem, I'ma reappear. With a squad you already fear. All this time I've been playing fair. 7 digits every single year. Niggas die, niggas disappear. Alibis, I was really there. Life a crime till I get the chair. Columbine in my trigger hair. Still I rise and I took the stairs. Feel a fire, it's a different glare. All these fights, it was never fair. Busting knuckles, still I'm swinging fierce. Taste the salt inside my dripping tears. You should know I never had a fear. You should know I never had a shot, never had a chance till I took it here. Man, it's proud, but I see it clear. Strategize, I'm an engineer. Pick a side, gotta keep it there. Switching up, nigga, looking weird. I got the key to the city. I got a hold of Shadidi. Talk to that bitch in Swahili. Tattoo my name in graffiti. Whack out your hood in graffiti. Come through your hood on the weekly. None of y'all niggas can't see me. None of y'all niggas can't see me.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews, a.k.a. B. Just before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos, hit that like button. Y'all come in here to share, subscribe, hit that Cash App, $ BJ Matthews, $ BJ Matthews for all this great content. Venmo is at BJ/MATHEWS/1. That is our Venmo. And if you guys have super stickers and super comments available, make sure you guys hit that button right below in the chat box below the video in the chat where it says thanks. You guys can send y'all love that way as well. But let's get it popping. All right, y'all. Before we get started, I want to, say thank y'all for coming in. Check out my last few videos I've been doing. I do a lot of free agency stuff, which we're going to get into today. Obviously, yesterday I did the Klay Thompson signed 3-year, $50 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks, which is going to be ending a dynasty to the Golden State Warriors. with Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry, who won 4 championships in 13 seasons. So high respect to them, high praise to them for what they did. Monumental. So if you guys did not see that video, make sure y'all go check that out. And check out all my free agency videos. I've been doing a lot of these, throughout the entire summer. There's more to go. But yeah, let's get back to LA Clipper talk. So the Clippers, obviously, right now are going through what I would call a retooling phase. I wouldn't even call it rebuild. I call it retooling. Ever since the departure of PG, the Clippers are trying to find ways to, retool their roster for next year. And I'm looking at, the moves that they're making. We talked about that the other day on the live. And I kind of went into what I thought about the moves that they made. If you guys did not see that live, go check it out. But there is a report that dropped by a Clipper beat writer that I'm very familiar with. It's not Law Murray. It's not Tomer Azarli. It's Joey Lynn. Joey Lynn is one of the Clippers' main beat writers. If I must say, probably the biggest Clipper beat writer as far as, the exposure to social media he gets and, the attention he gets. I would say he's probably the most popular beat writer. I think Law is the most, in my opinion, the most credible in terms of just his tenure being with the Clippers and, how things work. To me, he's the guy that if you want to know something as far as like the news, as far as, what's going on, like every single day, I'll go with him. Tomer is kind of the dude that he knows his stuff, but he's not as around as much as Law and Joey as far as in the locker rooms on the road. He's more there at the home games for the most part. So, if you want to, learn more about the Clippers and, know who to listen to as far as the insides, I would say go to Law Murray and Joey Lynn. So Joey Lynn posted a picture yesterday, did a tweet on X, and apparently the Clippers, from his sources, and they didn't tell me who the source is, but he came out and said that there's 2 players on our roster that could be in an upcoming move for a big trade that's coming. I won't even call it a big trade, just a trade in general. And that's Terance Mann and Miles Bridges, or Terance Mann and Norman Powell. He said Brad says Norman Powell and Terance Mann have come up as names to watch for in a Miles Bridges trade for the Clippers. So obviously, Miles Bridges obviously is the player that has been reported that they could possibly be moving in, and Terance Mann, Norman Powell could be moving out. As y'all come there, smash that like button, because a lot, to expound on this. First off, the report, like I said, doesn't have an actual name to it as far as who they're putting, like who's the actual source. But like I know Joey Lynn, if he's reporting this, and him being a Clipper beat writer, him being inside the lines, I can take it as pretty much credible that this is something that's at least been discussed or is currently being discussed. And this just happened within the last 24 hours, as y'all can see the 16-hour mark. So let's read what this article, because there's a small article, as y'all can see. Brad Turner is the person that on Twitter, reported this. But the article's on LA Times. So this is what has been read. I'm not going to try to read everything. I'm just trying to keep this as simple as possible. It said the Clippers have interest in signing free agent forward Miles Bridges. According to people with knowledge on this situation, not authorized to speak publicly, it probably would take a sign and trade deal in which the Clippers send a draft pick to Charlotte for Bridges, who averaged 21 points, 7.3 rebounds, 3.3 assists, while shooting 46.2% from the field last season. For the Hornets, players who have been discussed for a possible deal include six-man Norman Powell, who makes $19.2 million a year, and swingman Terance Mann, who makes $11.5 million a year. Like I said, as I come here, hit the like button. Hit the like button as y'all come in here. Acquiring 6'7" Bridges would be a big move for the Clippers after they lose All-Star forward Paul George to Philadelphia on a 4-year, $212 million deal. However, Bridges, 26, has legal issues. He sat out all of the 22-23 season after being accused of assaulting the mother of his children in front of them in Los Angeles, and also faced 3 charges for an alleged violation of domestic violence protection order on October 6th misdemeanor, child abuse, and injury to personal property. But the charges were dropped because of insufficient evidence. Okay. So Miles Bridges, I keep calling him Miles Bridges, according to this report, is looked at as another piece to be there for Paul George. They made a bunch of other moves. I think they made like 4 or 5 different other moves. This is somebody, again, this is just being discussed, but let's continue. It says people close to Bridges said that after seeing how Clippers owner Steve Ballmer has been willing to give players second chances, the team will be a great fit for him and that Bridges has learned from his mistakes. One person pointed out how the Clippers just agreed to a 2-year deal with guard Kevin Porter Jr., who was arrested on last September 11th for allegedly assaulting his girlfriend at a New York City hotel. The Houston Rockets banned Porter from team activities and traded him to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who waived him. Porter spent last season in Greece, and now the former USC standout is back in the NBA and still just 24. Okay. Kevin Porter Jr. obviously is a new guy that we just signed on a new deal. You know what I'm saying? A 2-year deal, if I'm not mistaken. We just signed him recently. So, yeah, he's a new addition to our team. Then he said acquiring the 6'7" Bridges would be a big move. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the same thing. It said also the person said Bridges respects Clippers coach Tyronn Lue and would love to play for him. All right. So that's the report. I'm gonna give my thoughts on the report and what I think about, everything that's been happening. Like I said, y'all come in here, smash that like button. Now, when I see that and when I read that, there's a couple things that I know people want to ask me. Do I think it's true, and how do I feel about it? First off, before I even say that, I'm not so sure about why they would need to trade anybody if he's a free agent. I don't know why they would need to trade Norman Powell and Terance Mann to get this guy, but that's what they're saying. This is what needs to be done for this to possibly happen. Now, Miles Bridges is somebody, as y'all read, he's a player that obviously has had some off the court issues. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember that situation happened last year with him and his girl. I did a video on this. His girlfriend or his fiance or one of his children. Apparently, there was a situation in Los Angeles, and where the police was called, and Miles Bridges was arrested for domestic violence towards the mother of his kid. And it was something that apparently was going on for quite a period of time. It was more than one time. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into all that stuff with domestic violence because that's not the channel for this. But what I am going to say is, you guys asked me, do I believe this story about the Clippers possibly looking to get Miles Bridges? Yes, I do. And the reason why I believe it is because, see, I'm going to think about with history. I look at what a team does. I look at a person's action. I look how they move. I look how they walk, how they talk, and their patterns to see what I'm dealing with. Now, Norman Powell, again, is one of our, better 6-man. He's our 6-man on the team. He's a dynamic scorer. He's a guy off the bench, all that stuff. And they're looking to, like I said, trade him or move him. Terance Mann, obviously, is our defensive guy on the perimeter, a fan favorite. A lot of people really love Terance Mann. Like him a lot. Right? So, when you look at those two scenarios and those two situations, you kind of see, okay, well, damn, this report, if it's true, then we might be seeing the last of Norman Powell and Terance Mann. Everything that seems to be happening right now, it seems like I said, is a retooling phase. Right? Seems to be a retooling phase right now. Um, they're both good. They're Norman Powell and Terance Mann are both very, very good players for what they do. Um, but Miles Bridges is definitely a solid player. But the only thing about Miles Bridges is he did on a bad team with the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte obviously is not a good team. They're one of the bottom of the barrel teams in the Eastern Conference, not even the Western, in the Eastern Conference. They have a lot of guys on that team who are, there's no discipline, there's no direction, there's no order. Michael Jordan, sold a piece of that franchise. Um, for years, the Hornets have been bad. I think they made to the play-in like back in 2021 or 2022, and they lost to the Atlanta Hawks. But the Hornets have been basically a team that's just been, pretty much nobody pays attention to. They can go into the G League and nobody would even recognize it. But on a serious note, this goes back to, like I said, man, the Clippers are trying to basically rejuvenate players and try to do things that, you know, other teams just don't want to really, deal with. And that's just basically bringing guys, what I'm saying, who may have a troubled past or may have had a difficult time somewhere else, and they try to give them a second chance. Now, I'm all for the comeback story, and I'm all for, people getting opportunities and things of that nature. Um, but it just seems like with the Clippers, it's just too frequently. And it seems like, and I've even started, like I said, patterns. I'm starting to notice some of the patterns with the Clippers front office that's alarming. It's not just about helping and giving people second chances. I think there's some type of anxiety. I think there's some schizophrenia. I think there's some, um, what I'm saying, confusion, not knowing what's what, you know, not able to make sound decisions. That's what I'm starting to get with the front office because, okay, you signed Kevin Porter Jr. Obviously, we know Kevin Porter Jr. has had, and again, this ain't just one issue with KPJ. If y'all read up Kevin Porter Jr.'s history, even in the past, going back to college, what I'm saying, there's several events that he did that didn't happen that definitely makes you scratch your head. And the same thing with Miles Bridges. It's the same exact thing. They both have multiple events. It ain't just one thing. Now, you can say it's basically because you're young. I know KPJ is 24. I know Miles Bridges is 26. Um, so you can use youth, but at the end of the day, it's like the Clippers have done this over and over and over. They bring in trouble guys and then they try to, somehow rejuvenate them. They make decisions that don't make any sense. I mean, like I said, if you go back just even with Tyronn Lue, okay, just what happened what happened whatchamacallit, this going to the offseason. Tyronn Lue receives a 5-year extension because the other team across the hallway, the Lakers were looking at getting him. And you know how I know that's the reason why they got him for is because they waited until the end of the season to give him one. See, my thing was the reason why they were waiting to give Tyronn Lue an extension was to try to see how he was going to look, like how he performed as a coach throughout the regular season and the playoffs. That was the reason, in my personal opinion, they gave Tyronn Lue the extension. That's why I was waiting to give Tyronn Lue the extension. It made it very clear. Whether that had been Jerry West doing it, like advising Lawrence Frank and Steve Ballmer not to give Tyronn Lue an extension until he proves himself, which I think was a smart decision. But you would think the disappointment that Clipper fans had and all the complaining they said about Ty Lue the whole entire year, you would think like, okay, well, if you're gonna give him an extension, give him like a 2-year, give him like a short extension, because you already had him on contract. See, this is the thing. People say they were afraid the Lakers gonna get him. Ty Lue was still on contract. He had one more year on his contract, so the Lakers couldn't snag him yet. But they basically did a Hail Mary because they heard the word Lakers, and they gave this dude a 5-year extension because they didn't want him going to the Lakers or LeBron. Not because he got us to the conference finals, not because he got us to the NBA finals, not because this, that, and the other. And I know Kawhi wasn't on the court, but even outside of that, there was several holes, and I was even looking out throughout the entire season why Ty Lue was just sitting up there making dumb errors from even in the playoffs, underplaying the defense, overplaying the offense, not having an offensive system other than running through James Harden, not really pulling his guys to the side and settling them down, not the 5-year extension, like I said, are for coaches who actually are winning championships or getting deep into the playoffs, right? That's who those 5-year extensions are for. Mike Malone, Eric Spoelstra, Joe Mazzulla, Steve Kerr. That's what those extensions are for. But I say that to say, from you to do that, and then for you to sign, it looks like 2 guys that you're looking to really use as real rotational piece. Because Kevin Porter Jr., don't make no mistake about it, is a very, very solid 2 guard who can play. He's athletic. He can get to the basket. He's a lefty. He can score. He's fearless. He's kind of like, if y'all remember Brandon Jennings, if y'all remember him, he's like a bigger version of Brandon Jennings, a lefty. He fast with the ball. He's crafty. You know what I'm saying? He plays with a certain chip and attitude. You know what I'm saying? That's who Kevin Porter Jr. reminds me of. He's a good player. And Miles Bridges, he's a solid 3. He's a solid 3 guy who's strong, who's athletic, this, that, and the other. They're definitely that. So when you bring 2 caliber players like that in, that means you're looking to get 2 other players out of the way. So that's why I said with this report with Norman Powell and Terance Mann, I definitely believe it, because you're bringing in all these guys at one time looking to retool the roster. You can't play everybody. You brought in multiple guards. You brought in Kevin Porter Jr. You brought in Chris Dunn, who's another player people are forgetting about. Chris Dunn's he's a defensive guy. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a guy that's going to play defense. He got heavy minutes on the Utah Jazz, right? He's a tough-minded player on defense. I think he's 30 years old. I think he was a 5th pick in the NBA draft. So he's going to come to this team looking to crack the rotation. And then you add in Derrick Jones Jr., who obviously people have gotten a household name because of the defense he played on PG. So he's going to look for minutes. So you're bringing in 4 guys, right? Miles Bridges, Chris Dunn, right? Derrick Jones Jr., and Kevin Porter Jr. All 4 guys are going to be looking to be in the rotation and not particularly start. Because what's the starting lineup going to be? Harden, Terance Mann, Kawhi, and then you need a 4, which Batum is there, but I don't see him starting, and then a Ivica Zubac. So those are 5 guys right there. And then you got Norman Powell, Kevin Porter Jr., Derrick Jones Jr., Miles Bridges, Chris Dunn. Like, you got Amir Coffey also, who's still on the team, who's still on the books. You got Bones Highland still on the books. That's 12. You guys still, of course, I think they're trying to get off of Russ. They're trying to get off of Russell Westbrook, so I won't even include him. They're trying to get off of PJ Tucker, so I won't include him. But in order for them to get a player of the caliber of a Miles Bridges, they're going to have to give up something. But just off the fact they're getting these players right here, I think they're getting these guys to replace certain players. I think Derrick Jones Jr. came in as the same way because he's a point of attack defender like Terance Mann. He's a point of attack defender just like Terance Mann. So I think personally, I wouldn't be shocked if Terance Mann got shipped off. Kevin Porter Jr., to me, came in for Norman Powell. I wouldn't be shocked if Norman Powell got moved. I wouldn't be shocked. But see, this is why I say the Clippers are the art of confusion, because we've been saying, like, if for me to move you, you got to be a problem. You have to be a problem. You have to be an issue. If I'm going to move you off my roster, it means either A, you're a problem on the court, or B, you're a problem off the court. You got to be a problem on or off the court. And Kevin Porter Jr., again, he's a good player as far as, first of all, you got to remember, even the points that he averaged was on the Rockets. He averaged, I think, 19 points coming off the bench on a bad team that was at the bottom of the barrel. Never been in the postseason, never been. So all he has really on his side is youth and energy. So that's the guy I think they're looking to possibly place him with Norman Powell. Now, Norm averaged 16 points per game last year on a winning team, has championship pedigree, has been in the big moments, has been in the fire. He's already been proven. He's already been solidified. He's already been in those type of battles. Norm is 31 years old, still in his prime, still hasn't lost he's still athletic. He still plays, like, he still has the tools. He's just, 31 years old. But he ain't no issue on and off the court. You barely hear about anything. He has no legal issues, nothing like that. And he's still a proven basketball player, something that Kevin Porter Jr. is striving to be, who actually has off-the-court issues or has had off-the-court issues. And again, this is one after another incident he done had. And he's still pretty young-minded. The Clippers they brought him right in from Greece. Nobody's ever said he can't hoop. But for them to go into the free agency pool and say that's our guy that's going to get out the free agency pool, I mean, that again scratches my head. And then you got Terance Mann, who, in my personal opinion, played the best defense on Luka Doncic in the playoffs. If y'all don't believe me, go look at what he did as far as his number wise. Who's a fan favorite, who is somebody that gets a lot of, love from the fans and people like that. And like I said, every time he does something well, he's doing good, the rug gets pulled underneath his feet. They go out their way to sign Derrick Jones Jr., who pretty much does the same thing Terance Mann does. He plays defense at point of attack, but the only difference is Derrick Jones is a little bit taller. He's a little bit more athletic. They're about this. I think they're both 27 years old. But to me, that can be his replacement, because the Clippers are looking at, like, they never really got. Like I said, and this goes back to Ty Lue. Ty Lue, for whatever reason, has not given Terance Mann his full just due. He's not a fan of Terance Mann like that. He doesn't truly rock with Terance Mann. Like, we can all see that. It took the front office to actually strong arm him to get him into what they call the starting lineup. Ty Lue don't really have a close affinity with Terance Mann. I mean, he's cool with him. He may act like he's, he may say the right things on the podium, but his play, he don't play. He wants to play offense over defense. That's what he values. So when you got two guys like Norman Powell and Terance Mann, Ty Lue loves Norman Powell. He loves Norman Powell. Don't get it twisted. But he doesn't really have much of an affinity for Terance Mann. But I think the front office loves Terance Mann, and Norman Powell, I'm not so sure how they feel about him. I'm not so sure how they feel about him, honestly. But they're not really nothing that they need to really move. Like, again, like all these moves they're making, bro, like it just seems like the Clippers to me are working inside out, and they're getting all these different hockey moves like they're doing something, when in reality all they're doing is undoing what's already been done. Like, you already had the team to win a championship. Only thing that was missing was your best player not being healthy. The same story we have every single year with Kawhi, which I want to get into something like this, and I don't mean to get off kilter. And as y'all come here, smash the like button. So yesterday, I had a deep talk with a friend of mine who works with the Spurs, okay? Or who worked with the Spurs, and who currently, he used to live in San Antonio. He's not in San Antonio anymore. He lives in Abilene, Texas now. He don't live in San Antonio, but his connections are with the Spurs, okay? He was one of the guys who used to rebound for Kawhi. Would see him every single game, back in the Spurs days, and when they're winning championships or going to the finals, this, that, and the other. And me and him used to go back and forth about Kawhi because, like I said, I told y'all Kawhi is my favorite player. And what I used to tell him is that, man, why are you so hard on Kawhi, man? I feel like you just be hating on him for no reason. Like, this is a top 5 player when he's healthy. He's this, that, and the other. Da-da-da-da. It just feel like to me like you mad because he left San Antonio and won. And it got to this year to finally kind of see what he was talking about. His whole thing with Kawhi is that he never felt Kawhi was faking any injuries, right? Because remember, he was in San Antonio when this kind of started with him, not wanting to play and not, forcing anything. So that's when they got like the beginning of it. They were able to get to me, the more healthier side of Kawhi in San Antonio. He played the most games with that franchise. He was younger, but as years went on, Kawhi's health went lower and lower and lower. So he told me, bro, like, don't put your faith in the Clippers as far as betting and stuff like that because he's not going to be there. And I said, nah, I ain't trying to hear that shit. You hating this, that, and the other. We've been going out this for like 2.5 years, right? Still my homie, still cool. Last year happens, Kawhi tears his meniscus. I'm still on that train that Kawhi is not going to get hurt every single year. I still believe Kawhi Leonard, he has a great chance this upcoming year to be healthy. But when he got hurt last year, he messaged me, said, see, I told you he ain't going to be there. I said, well, man, you can't dictate. That's just, whatever. I mean, I ain't hearing you. So to come into this year, I said, okay, Kawhi Leonard is going to be healthy. He played 68 games, going to be healthy for the playoffs, right? He's still on that same train. Kawhi is not going to play. He's not going to be healthy for the postseason. Like he says, the situation with his knee is worse than what he's revealing. So we get to the 68 games, and we start hearing reports about Kawhi Leonard having issues with his knee again. That, inflammation coming out of nowhere. The timing of it was just bad. He stays out for inflammation more than usual. He's out for about a full month. He comes back for game 2 against the Mavericks, right? He plays, and then they say the inflammation came back after game 2 and didn't respond how it's supposed to respond. And then game 3, it looked like Kawhi Leonard was like, he shouldn't even been out there. So another frustrating down year for the Clippers. And he messaged me again. He said, BJ, I'm telling you, you have got to see it now that Kawhi Leonard is not going to be there. And he told me yesterday, we had a deep talk. He said next year, he predicting Kawhi Leonard will probably play 60 games and miss playoffs again. And for the first time, I said to him, I'm like, you know what, bro? I don't even fault you for saying that. I don't. And I know y'all wondering why I'm saying all this. I'm getting to a point I just need y'all to stay with me. He told me that he feels that Kawhi and his people, and I'm talking about his advisor, Uncle Dennis, this, that, and the other, should come out clean about what's really going on, about what's actually going on, because he's not telling us everything that's really going on with this knee. And you know what? In my mind, I didn't say it out loud, but I said in my mind, like, you know what? That he makes a good point, because how many times have we heard Kawhi Leonard say after an injury? This is going back to even 2021. We say he gets hurt and he comes back on the podium and he says he'll be fine. He did it against the Jazz in 2021 when he tweaked his knee. He said right after the post game he's going to be fine. He's out for the whole playoffs. In 2023, he says against the Suns, he's acting like he's going to be fine after game 2. When he drops 31 points, he sits out for the entire playoffs. This past year, in the playoffs again in game 3, or in game after game 3, the way he looked like he shouldn't even been out there, he's still telling everybody that he's going to be healthy. I mean, he's going to be back on the court. My issue is that Kawhi is never going to tell and be fully transparent with what's going on, because that's not who he is. But now that you're dealing with money, and now that you're dealing with the franchise, because now they pretty much invested the franchise into Kawhi Leonard. They made that obvious. So when I hear Clipper fans keep saying, we need Kawhi Leonard to be healthy, we need Kawhi Leonard to be healthy, we need Kawhi Leonard to be healthy, that's been the whole situation the whole entire time. And the Clippers, and this goes back to the front office again, this goes back to them being more transparent. Every time they be running to this time of year when he gets hurt, the Clipper organization continuously stretches out that it's going to be a day by day. He's out day by day instead of just ruling him out for the playoffs. Now, some of that may be by strategically. I get that, but I think there's a bigger, just by how the Clippers, like I said, man, I watch how people move in their patterns, and I had to go back and look at some past shit about the Clippers at the end of the day, and how they've done certain players, from Blake Griffin to Patrick Beverley, and then recently to PG. And then we look at the decisions they've been making and things of that nature. I'm starting to look at them sideways a little bit. Every time, and no, I don't care who gets upset or what you may think, every single time within the last 4 or 5 seasons that Kawhi Leonard gets hurt in the postseason, we always hear he's out day by day. And fans are hoping that he's playing. Fans are hoping he'll be back on the court, and he doesn't come back. They buy their tickets, and they act like he's going to be on the court. He doesn't come back. There will be games, even Kawhi Leonard, like the Clippers he would play, and they would announce like right before the game Kawhi Leonard wasn't playing. Remember that what happened last year when the Clipper fans were booing because Kawhi and PG, they would sit them out. And I'm talking about the medical staff to sit them out, but they wouldn't give them any type of notice until after they bought the tickets. Again, this goes back to being a business again. They still have to sell tickets. They still have to be able to bring guys or bring people into the stands. Which I personally think that's just wrong at the end of the day. I know I work for the Clippers, but understand something about me, y'all. I don't have to kiss ass to nobody. The department I work in, I don't have to kiss ass. Because, see, the thing with me is I still independently have my own podcast. Still independently have, certain things that I don't have to really kowtow to anybody. I'm just speaking what the truth is, man. And it's nothing wrong because I'll give credit where credit is due, but I also give, grief when grief is when I talk about Steve Ballmer being, I'm saying a person that cares about the fans, I definitely give him credit. But when I talk about the front office and some of the moves they done made, and now we see with these moves with Kevin Porter Jr. and Miles Bridges, who, my personal opinion, they're signing these guys or they're trying to bring in guys that yet again don't have the best resume, and they're guys who are they're basic. They're good, okay players. That again, this is just really just a history that they have done with the organization. But back to Kawhi, bro. This has all been about if Kawhi is healthy for the last 5-6 years, or for the last 4 or 5 years. This has all been about Kawhi. When people keep saying, "Well, we're making this move, we're making that move, we're making this move now, and we all need number Kawhi," that's duh. That's what we've been asking for the last 4 years. That's all that's been. My question is it going to change? We know Kawhi Leonard when he's on the court, what he is, who he is. But when I hear a guy like JM tell me or say out loud that they want Kawhi Leonard to come off the bench, that tells me that he knows just as much as anybody else knows that Kawhi Leonard can't be playing all this time. But my thing is, if he can't be doing all this, then he's sure as hell getting paid like it. You can't be asking for the if you're getting paid 3-year, $150 million, bro, and we can't rely on you, then you can't be getting paid that type of bread. You can't be saying that we have to continuously watch him and monitor him, and he's still getting paid as if he's a superstar player. I know he took somewhat of a pay cut, quote unquote, but I don't even think it was much of a pay cut because according to the Clippers, they said they weren't giving nobody no 4-year deals. They proved that with PG. They weren't giving him no 4-year deal. So was it really a pay cut, or was it really them setting the bar like, this is how much we're going to give you. We want to keep the core together. We want you to cooperate. And Kawhi Leonard cooperated. PG did not. Which goes back to me telling that I feel like there's going to be some more stuff that's brought out because y'all, and again, go back to, the front office. Draymond Green came on his podcast and he spoke about that with them saying they wanted to get Paul George. Him and Steph were both on board. Now, I've heard two separate reports. I've heard a report that they went out there and wanted to get Jonathan Kuminga, and they put him in the trade package. And I heard that he wasn't in the trade package. So whichever reports you guys want to believe, is up to you. But the source that said they put Kuminga in the trade package. The source that they said they put Kuminga in the trade package. The Clippers were asking for 2 first-round picks, vice versa, 1. When the Warriors, the original trade package. So, like I said, the 2 reports I heard, there was 2 reports that was out. There was one yesterday that Ramona Shelburne said Golden State Warriors were unwilling to trade Jonathan Kuminga to Los Angeles Clippers for Paul George. That's one report. And this report was LA Clippers declined a Warriors trade package that included a combo of Chris Paul, Andrew Wiggins, and Jonathan Kuminga. The Clippers did not want to play nice. So Ramona Shelburne is a ESPN insider who has been around for quite some time. I don't know if you know the white lady that she be's on. She was on Undisputed a few times. She's been on other different networks a few times. She seemed like she's a pretty logical person. But like I said, as far as her work goes, she seems to, what I'm saying, she's not one of the big names, but she is known. She's not like the, Adrian Wojnarowski's or the Sham Karenia or the Chris Haynes or the, what I'm saying, who else? She's not part of ESPN Countdown with Malika Andrews and none of that. It's like she's more of like the independent slash big scenery type of thing. That's how I look at Ramona Shelburne. She's not Rachel Nichols, but I mean she's cool. I remember one story though that was kind of outlandish when remember that whole thing with Kawhi Leonard. Pretty much Russell Westbrook was calling Kawhi Leonard for him to come play with him, and instead of answering his call, he went to Paul George. And actually, they said that he snaked Westbrook and decided to go to Paul George instead. That was Ramona Shelburne that actually reported that. She reported that story. She was the one that went on TV and reported that. I never really believed it myself. I didn't think that Kawhi actually did that. Like he ignored Westbrook's calls on purpose and then ran around and just said, "I want to play with PG." And I don't think that that story is fully accurate. But I mean, no knock on her. And this one was done by Tim Kawanaki, who's a Warriors beat writer. And he's actually close with the owner, Joe Lacob. And he said that this was the package that the Clippers were being offered. They were being offered this package with a first round pick. And they didn't want to take this deal because they wanted 2 picks instead of 1. And I think they had a problem with Chris Paul's contract. Well, damn. If you had a problem with Chris Paul's contract, what you think, like, the Warriors were going to – Chris Paul is making $30 million. PG's making 48. I mean, it seemed like to me you don't have no problem spending money now. Jonathan Kuminga made $7 million. Andrew Wiggins made, I think, 26. Moses Moody made, I think, 5. But what I remember him saying also, they didn't have to choose Jonathan Kuminga and Wiggins. I think they just said one of them. So you wouldn't be taking Andrew Wiggins if you didn't want him. So I don't know about Tim Kawanaki's source. I did hear somebody say that he's not always credible as damn self, but he is close to the situation. Just him being a beat writer he's kind of like the Joy Lynn of the Clippers or the Law Murray of the Clippers. So, like I said, man, with that situation, again, that goes back to the front office too. To be honest with you, the front office, and y'all can answer me in the chat, what have they really done to earn the fan base's trust? For us to say, well, they weren't going to take that trade, BJ. It was best that we didn't check that trade. I don't know why the hell people think this is such a positive thing that PG walked for no pieces back. Oh wait, no, BJ, they got 5 other guys. They didn't get PG for nothing. They got 5 other. Understand, these guys they're picking up. You guys know we're going to have to get rid of some of the same guys that are part of our core. This is why I say it's basically a scratch. You know what a scratch is when it's not really positive or negative. It's just a scratch. You give some back. You give some, you get some back. Kevin Porter Jr., are you telling me has been proven more than Norman Powell? has been in bigger games than Norman Powell, who's been a champion, who's been a six-man, who really, if you think about it, should have been six-man of the year this year. Him, I know they gave it to Naz Reid, but he was definitely top 3. He had the best three-point shooting percentage, or one of the top three-point shooting percentages in the corners this year. He was definitely one of the top favorites. He was part of a team that was a top 4 seed in the Western Conference. This guy, Kevin Porter Jr., bro, as electric as he is, as fun as he is to watch, bro, he is unproven. To the point where he had to go overseas because nobody wanted to deal with him. Nobody wanted to touch him. We give up Norman Powell to get Kevin Porter Jr. Derrick Jones Jr., nobody knew about him until this. Really, again, he got his name off of Paul George as being the George stopper, which, I mean, I won't go deep into that, but again, I think people are over-exaggerating that because, again, when you take Kawhi Leonard off the court and you have a defensive scheme like Jason Kidd and you actually watch the games, they actually had a scheme for Paul George and James Harden to key in. So it wasn't really Derrick Jones Jr. stopping them. It was a combination collectively. You had P.J. Washington guarding Paul George as well. Right, you had P.J. Washington guarding Paul George as well. See, this is what I'm saying with this narrative shit, man. Like y'all can't fool me with this narrative, bro. But like I'm saying, they basically had a defensive scheme, and Jason Kidd being a defensive type of coach that really worked without the Clippers having Kawhi Leonard back on the court. So it wasn't really Derrick Jones Jr. stopping Paul George or P.J. Washington stopping Paul George or they stopping James Harden or stopping what they had a collective scheme to actually really make the Clippers take more outside shots because of the offensive system that we have is simply just ISO play. Terrible spacing also, in my opinion. But I digress. Derrick Jones Jr. is a good defender. Make no mistake about it. But how much more better he is than Terance Mann, who had to guard Luka Doncic? Because, again, that's who I feel is the person that they came to actually look to. They looking to replace. Because, again, every time, and see, T-Man to me is the guy I feel most bad because every time he does something right, he seems to get punished for it. Every time Terance Mann does something right, he has to get punished for it. He guards one of the best premier guys in the league, scores. He gets punished for it. He shoots the ball at a 30-something% clip. He gets punished for it. You can even tell how he plays. Look how he even plays at times. You'll see him get the ball in the corner, catch it, and dribble backwards and pass the ball off because he doesn't want to make a mistake. See, this is why I say that Tyronn Lue, again, he don't really believe in Terance Mann, even though this guy, once again, was part of what happened in 2021. He was part of that run that we had in 2022. He was part of what we've been doing the last 3 seasons. And you would think he would have like a set spot on the team, in the rotation, starting. You have to worry about his starting lineup spot. But you bring in this Derrick Jones Jr. kid who's going to compete for that spot. And knowing Tyronn Lue, he will not only take Terance Mann's minutes away, he will go ahead and put Derrick Jones Jr. in front of his spot. He will do that. There's no doubt in my mind. I know y'all asking why am I saying all this, because I'm putting everything out there that, again, I'm confused of what the Clippers are trying to do. Some people are saying defense. We have had defense the last 3-4 years. Clipper fans who've really been watching this team for the last 3 or 4 years, we've had defense on this team. But Tyronn Lue don't believe in playing defense over offense. So you can get all the defensive players you want to get, a la Chris Dunn, a la Derrick Jones Jr., right? A la Mobamba, the new guy that came on the team, Mobamba. You can get all the defensive caliber guys. You can only play 5 guys at a time. In the playoffs, you can only play 8. There's a lot of guys that are going to be off these books next year if you guys don't know. The only players that are looking that have already been re-signed are Kawhi, Harden, Norman Powell's on his next year, next year, and Kobe Brown, who obviously, you know what I'm saying, is going to be a second-year player next year. He's signed until 26, 27. Everybody else is pretty much on a free agency. Bones Highland, Amir Coffey, another person who proved I thought can get in the rotation. His minutes will be cut next year as well, unless he's getting moved as well in this whole trade package. You know, Russ is pretty much out the door. Mason Plumlee's out the door. Terance Mann, Zubac, they're out there. They are free. Like, all these guys are free agents next year. And if something happens this upcoming year with these new guys taking their spots, I can guarantee they're going to be looking to go somewhere else. Like I said, I can see if you can make moves if they were needed, but I don't see what's the like when people say, "Well, BJ, we're getting better." Like, I just don't see what you mean getting better. We didn't really need to fix shit. We've had these same players are the same guys we already had, who are battle tested, who's been in the trenches, who's actually knows the system. Oh, we're saving money in this. I'm like, I don't see how y'all saving any money. And that's another thing too. Before I let y'all go, like I said, I looked around the league and I seen some of the teams that's spending real money and actually trying to get the cream of the crop and all this. Y'all have to understand, like, I don't just talk out my ass and just say what I say. I do hours upon hours of studying. How do y'all think that I come in here and actually, have all this stuff pulled up? Because this stuff takes time, bro. This is not something that I just put this in the first 5 minutes and I have to, like, no, when I'm talking and I'm actually explaining all this, it's because I'm spending hours upon hours to try to bring this to y'all in light. There's the whole thing with this whole second apron and this whole thing with this first apron and all this CBA, everybody's in tune with it now. Let me tell y'all couple of the teams that's real contenders, what they're spending on their salary. You got the Timberwolves, who are at 192 million, who got to the conference finals, and this upcoming year, and then the following year they're gonna be doing 204 million. They made it to the conference finals. You got the Boston Celtics, who made it to the NBA finals last year and actually won the whole thing. They're at 192 million, and that's going up because this salary right here, I think they don't have Jason Tatum's new contract updated yet. I think. I'm not particularly, but I think they don't have Jason Tatum's contract up because I see 163, 102. That would be going up. So I think they haven't even got Jason Tatum's contract in there. Denver Nuggets has 190 million right now. So they're the only team. They won the championship year before. Them losing KCP, them losing Bruce Brown, those players, because they went to other teams and got paid more money. But what I'm saying is these are some of the top teams that have the highest salaries, and y'all can see they're way over the second apron. They're way over that 182.5 million. But that's how you build. a championship team. You reward people for what they do. The Clippers, I've said again, Patrick Beverley, Blake Griffin. I don't know too much about the Chris Paul. I think Chris Paul, I'm not so sure he has something to do with I know he has something to say about the medical staff, but I'm not so sure with I don't think he really particularly is fond over the Clippers organization, period. And then you got Paul George, who at this point right now, I can only bet, I'm telling you, he gonna eventually come out and say something about what really happened. Because it seemed like to me other people were kind of speaking up for him. I think Draymond Green said what he said. Of course, he's for the Warriors. But again, as I'm looking at just the decisions and stuff that's been transpiring with the Clippers in that front office, bro, I'm not putting my trust in that front office anymore. I never really put my trust in them to begin with. Y'all never really heard me say nothing about Lawrence Frank. I've said he's a cool guy off the court, but as far as business decisions, like what's the last great move he made? People are high on this Jeff Van Gundy hire, which in reality, again, you basically replaced him with the same person that you just had in Dan Craig, who came from a winning tradition in Miami. All you did was replace the same person with the same person. Confusion, confusion, confusion. Yeah, but I just wanted to bring that news, man. I definitely believe this story. I definitely believe that they're looking to bring in Miles Bridges. Now, will it happen? We don't know yet, but I'm definitely believing that this is a possibility because they've shown so many times before that they're willing to do stuff like this, and you know what I'm saying, try to play rejuvenation center ball. Yeah, I definitely believe it. But until next time, respectfully say, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull out pace, out of here like swim well.
Wow.
I've been all around the world, Japan to Amsterdam. Meals, nutritious, lifestyle was vicious, yeah. While these out here tried to hate mine, yet I still stood tall on the main line. Two-step, throwing up their gang sign. Rolling around the city, big chain, but he ain't signed. Y'all fake tough, little puffs to my canines. Don't forget cracking at them hit boy parties. Probably got your girl naked at them hit boy parties. Big chains, big flexing at them hit boy parties. Nobody trip, cause they knew I had that big boy on me. Yeah, gang of fast living, addicted to cash getting. Disrespected to getting the ass whipped. Don't call yourself a baller unless your whole clan get. Plan you got you ain't working, then you need to plan different.
This on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything.
Yeah, no need for blocks out. Baby got her box out. Just dropped her man, now she looking for that knockout. He did her wrong, then he tried to shame, baby. She was trying to bounce back, so don't blame, baby. Cause it kick her up, one time fuck her up. A true big homie, I don't hear his name enough. Went through the real movie while y'all snowed on the bluff. Gotta give it up, big homie did his stuff. Now it's all about the bag play. Been around more smoke than an ashtray. Right cheek, left cheek, let her ass shake. On God, I'm 100 till my last day. West side, east side, yeah, I'm both for that. No talking, take off, bro, I'm known for that. 50 M's on the scales, yeah, I'm close to that. Yeah, you on the same mission, yeah, I'm hoping that. Make the money overlap.
West side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything. Hey, this on west side over everything. Yeah, this on west side over everything.
Throw it up,
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 throw it up.
my 6 toes, I see. Hey, yeah. Give it up. Hey, give it up. Hey, give it up. Battle Cat. Holla. That nigga Dom Kennedy. Yeah. Gotta love that. Yeah. Corrupt. We love you too.